Good morning. Today is Monday, April 6th, and the next round of Sock Madness has dropped. So this particular pattern is by Annette Gürtner, who goes by the Nerd Knits on Ravelry. And the name of the socks for this round is Whisky Ahoi. I believe, I have not read through the pattern yet, I just clicked on it, is knit from the heel out. One of those patterns. And it's based off of how she was, what does it say? She was on her honeymoon on a cruise, on a boat, along the Croatian coast when they got stuck in a storm. So that's um, the thought behind these socks. It looks like there's waves and maybe boats, and of course there will be a picture on the screen of that. So I think I'm going to go with the traditional color scheme for waves and start with a blue main color. The white caps on top of the waves will be a white or a cream, and then the boats will be just whatever I think has a really nice contrast with the blue. So most likely a brown, as long as there's a good contrast between the two colors that I pick. So I'm gonna go cast on before I start work because I need to work, and then I'll check in periodically like I did last time. I have never knit a sock with this construction. I have seen them, but I've never knit them. So we'll see how this goes, and hopefully I am into it. I will say I'm having some health issues. My autoimmune is flaring. So if I have a couple more bad days, I'm just going to bow out of this competition because it's not worth the stress or the hand health. Lately, my hands have been really bothering me, which is why you see me gripping this warm cup of coffee, because the heat actually really, really helps my hands. So I've been resting my hands in buckets of hot water lately, and that has helped. Holding hot beverages helps. But if I'm feeling some severe hand pain, I'm going to bow out of the competition. We have some really great knitters on our team, and I will just continue to cheer for them. I had a little bit of time during a meeting earlier this morning that I could knit a couple rows, and then during my lunch break I got to this point, which is the point in which I need to introduce the third color. So originally I was going to go with this, and I do think that will work, but the other two colors are cool tones, and this is a warm tone, so it kind of, I'm not sure. Don't love it. And then in the sample, they have like an orangey red. And I have this, which is what I used for my newspaper socks. It's the Cascade Heritage Blood Orange color, I believe. And I don't know. So I'm leaning towards this. My next row is going to be the start of the boats. So I think I'm going to go with the red, and I can always duplicate stitch over it if I need to. It is very many hours later. The sun is going down, and I'm about to watch footage from Artemis 2. Should be approaching the moon. We should have the best viewing hours, but I won't. Whatever. Yeah, so I'm about to watch Artemis 2 do its like moon circle as much as I possibly can, but I wanted to show you where I got to. So this is what the heel is looking like. It's very pointy. I'm about 8 rows from finishing this heel chart. I believe I'm going to do the smallest size, and that's just gonna work out fine. It'll fit who it fits. I do not want this. I don't need this sock in my life. So it's going pretty quickly. I am a color work person. I follow charts easily. So this part has not been too hard. I've made a couple mistakes and had to go back and fix them, but overall I think that I'm doing just fine, and I will continue on. Okay, so today is Wednesday. 2 days later, what's that? The 8th, I think. And I am done with the heel of the second sock. So I already finished this one. And now I'm gonna show you how we make it from like Keebler elf hat to sock. I'm gonna try at least. It's a little fiddly, and I'm definitely not the most coordinated person in the entire world. So I'm gonna try and do this before I start work this morning. And I'm hoping by the end of the day today, I will have finished sock. Honestly, there's, I think, like 7 rows until you start the cuff after you complete this step. And then there's like 10 rows and then you start the toe. So it's like, it's really close after you get to this point. I'm knitting the size 68 stitches. So I'm at minimum specs, doing everything to the minimum because this is not my favorite construction for sock. I don't have very wide heels. So I hope I was able to capture that process, but essentially this sock is split into 6 sectors. So it's you repeat the chart 6 different times and you graft the center. So sector 3 to sector 6. And that creates your heel diagonal. And now I'm going to work up the leg and put on the cuff, and then I will come back and I will work the foot and put on the toe. So we're really close. I do have to go to work now, but on my lunch break, I will check back in and I should be able to get the leg and at least start the cuff. So here we go. It's recap time. So these are the Whisky Ahoi socks from Annette Gürtner. Gürtner. I hope I said that right. I really hate saying people's names on this because I always feel like I'm getting them wrong. And that feels very disrespectful. So I hope I said that correctly. Anyway, this is the Whisky Ahoi socks. This was Sock Madness Round 3 socks. The construction is quite interesting. You start at the heel and you work up, knitting in the round. It looks like a little hat. And then once you get to this point, you graft the top together. You graft the top together right here. Then you pick up stitches. Well, the stitches are, you don't have to pick up stitches. The stitches are already live for you. And you just start knitting in the round for the leg, pop on the cuff, and you do the same with the toe. Starting here, you knit the leg, or you knit the foot, and actually it's just right here, this fish, just this fish motif, and then you pop on the toe. And you can knit as many like fish and wave repeats as you want to. I think it's just wave repeats, but if you want to add fishies, you can. So these go really, really quickly. I would say they go much quicker than a traditional top-down sock for me personally. Also, disclaimer, like I love color work in the round. So if it's color work in the round, I'm very comfortable with it. And I was very comfortable with these socks. I don't love the toe, or I'm sorry, I'm getting all the names for everything wrong today. I don't love the heel. It's very pointy and a little, I don't know, I don't, like it's stiff. And that's because there's a lot of stitches densely, like you do a lot of make ones right here. They're densely packed together, the make ones. But when they're on feet, I don't notice it. I did not feel that at all, and I feel like I'm pretty sensitive to these things. I did not notice this. I was really surprised at how well these fit. I am a high instep person, and I generally do not knit size 68 stitches because I don't feel like they fit as well as they could with a couple extra stitches. So that's why I always gravitate to 72 stitches. But in this case, I did make the size 68 stitches and they fit me just fine. Hopefully I'll be able to pop in some B-roll at the end, and I'm impressed. I did knit my color work a little looser than I generally do just because of the nature of this color work. There were a lot of longer floats. I did my best to not catch my floats to make them a little bit stretchier. In some places I went seven stitches without catching floats, but there were a couple areas in this chart that went longer than 7 and I did catch. Overall pattern is fine. Its background is blue, so if you're printing this, I do think that would be an issue. You're just going to use a lot of gray ink on the background, which I don't, or blue ink if you have a color printer, which I don't love. I'm going to give this pattern a 3.5. A 3.5. For the pattern, like format, just in general, don't love that. And then also, I know waves are not symmetric. I know waves, do their own thing, but there's a couple points in this chart, even here, where there's these two sailboats right next to each other. They look connected. I just think that more attention to detail could have been paid. There's nothing wrong with these socks. They're still super cute. They're still super wearable. But there's a couple places in the chart where I was like, I don't think that it should be like this. But they're not my socks. So I would give the pattern a 3.5. I would give my execution of the pattern I don't know. That seems not great. Maybe a 3.5 as well. You get holes here and here. I do think that creates like a little funky area. Doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look great either. 3.5 all around. It's fine. And I'm happy to have these, and I am moving on. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know.